welcome here at Humble Hus. I'm very happy that you're here. We are making this super cute polar bear winter hat. It is quite easy to make. I don't even know if my daughter will be able to wear it here as often because, like I've mentioned many times before, it does not get that cold here where we live. Let me tell you what you'll need. So go to a craft store and get some of these like pom-poms, like these soft pom-poms, and obviously whatever color you like, scissors, yarn needle, stitch markers. If you don't have stitch markers, use paper clips, a hook. I'm going to be using a size 5, a measuring tape. I will be using this Bernard Baby Velvet by Yarnspirations. It is 100% polyester, a medium 4. Recommended hook size is a 5mm. I will be using the snowy white and this gray that I have left over from another project. So any type of darker color for the eyes. Let's get started with the slip knot. Take your yarn and make a loop. Then grab your hook, insert into the middle, go under it, and then grab this end, pull it through the middle, and carefully hold on to both ends and pull on your hook. Start by chaining 15, the yarn over, and then pull it through that loop. Again, yarn over, pull through the loop. So that's 2 chains. Yarn over, pull through. It's 3 to make a total of 15. Here I have 15 chains. Go back and single crochet into each loop. You insert your hook, then you yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. Again, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. There you have 2 single crochets. Obviously you started with 15 chains. That means you are only going to have 14 single crochets on your way back. So whatever number you started with, you will always have 1 less on your way back, and then from then on you will always have 14 single crochets until we finish this part of the hat. Now I have my 14 single crochets. I'm going to turn my work, chain 1. This time, instead of going through both loops of each stitch, we will only go through the back loop. This would be the front loop, facing you. That's the back loop. And obviously you want to go into this first one. So where you chained 1, it's hard to see, but there it is. There's that first little back loop. And do your single crochet. With this yarn, because it's so chunky, you have to make sure that you count along, and you want to have 14 single crochets. Okay, it's easy to get lost and maybe miss a stitch. Continue doing this until the end of the row, only through the back loop. Now there, I finished row number 2. Now I'm going to turn my work again, chain 1, and I will repeat the same as on that first row, which is going through that back loop and making sure that I have 14 single crochets in total. Now I'm done with row number 3. I'll turn my work, chain 1, and do the same as before, only through the back loop. You will continue the same pattern, always through the back loop, until you reach your desired length. And here's a chart to give you an idea of the sizing that you need. Now I don't know that this might be a bit heavy for a newborn. I have reached my desired length. My baby set circumference is 19 inches. But now, after I've done this last row, chain 1. Make sure that you do not twist the band. And we will join the 2 sides with a slip stitch in each stitch. So go into that first stitch through both loops, and then find that stitch across, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull that same loop through the one that's on your hook. Then go into the next stitch as well as across, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through that loop. Make sure you have that same amount of 14 stitches in my case, and finish closing this off. There, I have closed it off, and you can see this little bumpy line. You will chain one again after this round, and usually, you would turn it inside out so that the bumpy side is laying on the head. But in this case, this bottom part is going to be folded over once the baby is wearing it. So you want to leave this looking outwards. Unless you don't want to fold it, then do turn it inside out like that, and then continue crocheting here. We need to make a single crochet into every row that we have. I do them on each side of the bump. I'll start here, and then I'll do 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'll do my first single crochet here, then I'll come over on this side of the row, and then I'll go on the other side of that row. Now what you don't want to do is only have one loop, because then it will pull it too much. So you definitely want to make sure that you go into a stitch that has 2 loops. It was a good idea to add a stitch marker where you had your first single crochet. That way you know where you started. Now I personally do not stress out about the number of stitches that I have on this particular round. I usually do that on the next round, okay? But if you want to go ahead and count exactly how many rows you had and how many stitches you have, that's fine. So I went into that last stitch right before this, the bump, like where we closed it off. Here's my stitch marker, and I will do a slip stitch into this stitch, chain 1, and turn. Now we will single crochet all around, and this is where you can start counting. So do a single crochet, add your stitch marker. So I'm going to start counting from here how many stitches I have. I have 54 stitches, and I am right here before the stitch marker. Now this might look to you like a stitch, but it isn't. It's already that connecting part. Take out your stitch marker, slip stitch into here, chain 1, and turn. Now again, proceed with single crochets, and just count to make sure that you have the same amount of stitches as in the previous row. There, I am done with row number 2, and I just repeat the same thing where I do a slip stitch, chain 1, and turn, and then single crochet all the way around. Do a total of 10 rounds of single crochet. We have reached the end of our 10 rows. I am going to do my slip stitch, but this time chain 2. Now turn. The reason why you're chaining 2 is because we will do double crochets in this round, and you have to divide so that you know where you're going to put the eyes. So this is the back of the little hat, and then the eyes, you have to obviously space them equally as well as you can. I'm going to do 20 double crochets because I have 54 stitches, so I'm going to do 20 double crochets, then I will do a bubble stitch, then 12 double crochets, another bubble stitch, and then 20 double crochets until I reach the back of my little hat again. Let me show you how to do the double crochets. Yarn over, insert your hook into that same, not into that same stitch, into this next one, then yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. I'm going to add my stitch marker here so that I remember where I started. And we'll continue to do 20 of these double crochets. To show you once again, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Right before my 20th stitch, so the stitch right before I do the bubble, this is where I will switch colors. So I'm going to start the double crochet, I yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now I'm going to switch with the new color, with that darker gray. I'm going to pull through 2 loops and then yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Now just put your white yarn to the back because you're going to use it again. And to the next stitch, you're going to start your double crochets like this, but you won't finish them. Okay, so only go through the first 2 loops and then do another one. So this will be number 2, number 3, number 4, and one more time, number 5. That's going to leave you with 6 loops on your hook. Now you yarn over and pull through all 6. Those are going to be your eyes. Okay, now yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we switch to the white yarn again. You pull through the first 2 loops and then yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops and continue with your next stitches. So in my case it's 12 that I'm doing, so here I have 2. I am going to reach that 12th stitch, so I'm going to start again with the double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, but I won't finish it. I will take that gray yarn, pull it over, I'll just kind of hold it over. You know, you can always stitch this along these this space that you have. I don't like to do it because it always shows, well, I feel like it always shows that other color. So, I mean, you run into the problem that maybe your child will pull on this. Problems, right? So, anyway, this is how I do it. Finish off this stitch and just kind of make sure that it's pretty straight. And then yarn over and pull through the last 2. This is where I will do my bubble stitch on this next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So remember, you have to have 6 loops on your hook. Okay, one more. There are my 6 loops. Now yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. Start the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and switch back to the white. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And continue with your double crochets until you get to your stitch marker. Now is also the time when you can cut off this dark gray, since we won't be using it anymore. Going to finish this round, chain 1 this time, because we are going to turn our work and go back to doing single crochets only. Now when you get to this to the bubble stitch, just single crochet as usual. What I'm going to do to secure this yarn, the gray one, is I'm going to go under it into one of my stitches and then single crochet as usual so that it has a little bit of hold. And I did that in 2 spots. Now I joined with a slip stitch, chained 1. Now I'm going to turn and single crochet into that first one. Add my stitch marker. You will now continue to crochet 6 more rounds of single crochet since you already have that one right after the eyes. So that's a total of 7 rows of single crochet, which are rows number 12 to 18 in my case. On to row number 19. We will be doing decreases here. Start by doing your first single crochet. I'll add my stitch marker and continue to do a total of 6, including the one with the stitch marker, 6 single crochets. Now here's that 7th stitch. You simply insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, then you go into the stitch right next to that one, which would be considered the 8th stitch in this case. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. That leaves you with 3 loops. Now yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, so that was your first decrease. Then again, do 6 single crochets. And on the 7th stitch, you do a decrease. So right here, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. In the next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Repeat this pattern until you get to your stitch marker. Row number 20. We will do decreases in this row, but we will also add the little pom-poms. So start as usual, like you finished your row and you did the slip stitch, chain 1, turn, single crochet into the first stitch. And then do a total of 5, so including this one, including the one with the stitch marker. And then we will do that first decrease. And then on the 6th stitch, do the decrease with the one right next to that one on this round. After that first decrease on this round, I'm going to start with my next stitch as usual, insert my hook. Now I will grab the pom-pom. So this is where we'll add them to the hat, and then place the band on this side of the hook. So you insert your hook through it. You see that? Then you yarn over and finish the stitch as usual. So that's 1 single crochet, then go into the next stitch as usual. Leave the band on this side, yarn over, and do your single crochet. That's 2. And again, 3. And just keep doing the usual ones, 4. And 5. Always make sure the band is on this side so that we actually crochet it into the hat. Now we have our decrease again. So do as usual, yarn over, then go into the next stitch. Make sure the band is on this side of the hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and then do your decrease as usual. I will keep adding the band into my regular stitches. Okay, and obviously it's going to move around. That's fine. So now I am back to my decreases. So this is my 6th stitch, and this is where I don't add the band anymore. Then continue with your regular single crochets, which in my case, so after I did that last stitch with the pom-pom, I did a decrease, then I did 5 single crochets, I did another decrease, and now I add my pom-pom. So I'll count my regular 5 single crochets, adding the band, then I'll do a decrease, then I'll do 5 more single crochets with the pom-pom, then I'll do a decrease, and basically then I'm done with this round. I know this round is a little bit complicated, but you can always add the pom-poms after you're done with the hat if this is a little bit too hard for you. Insert them and tie them off through the inside. This is just a cleaner look, I feel, but like I said, there's always different ways to do it. Now on to round 21. Do your usual, the slip stitch, chain 1, turn, single crochet. On this round we'll be doing a decrease every 5th stitch. So this is round 21 and we'll be doing a decrease every 5th stitch, including, so you do 4 single crochets and then you do the decrease. Obviously it gets a little harder because you have to pull this apart to see exactly where your stitches will go. I know it gets harder with the pom-poms, right? Because they get in the way, those little hairs. Okay, row number 22, we will be decreasing every 4th stitch. So you did guess it right, every row will be decreasing by 1 until we close it off. Round 23, we will decrease every 3rd stitch. And we're almost done. It's getting so hard. Now row number 24, so it's every 2nd stitch you do your decrease. And row number 25, make a decrease into every stitch until this is closed off. Okay, see, that's the last bit of it. My last stitch. Now let's cut off this yarn and pull this yarn through this last loop. Now take your yarn needle and pass it to the inside of the little beanie or the little hat. Make like a little knot inside and go back and forth to thread this yarn in. You're done with your polar bear hat or snowman. I hope it wasn't too hard, especially with the pom-poms. I'm so happy that you went ahead and made this. I hope that you enjoy it and that it keeps your little one warm. I try to bring out a video every week if possible. Sometimes it doesn't work out, especially with a little one. Follow me on Instagram @HumbleHus. There you can see some of my creations and maybe you will get inspired. I will see you next time. This is HumbleHus. Bye.